Alex, we have a little bit of a delay. Can you turn on our easy listening music, please? Our jazz. Can you return to the jazz station? If anyone loves jazz, WBGO. Yes. Oh, they do jazz? Oh, okay. Awesome. But I want to welcome everyone this morning to the Passaic County Recovery Court graduation. We're just about ready to get started. Just for housekeeping purposes, the restrooms are at the top of the stairs through the double doors and straight across. We're going to ask that if you did bring beverages into the auditorium, please make sure you take your cups and trash out with you. The beverages actually aren't allowed. For any gentlemen that have hats on or hoods on, oh, okay, judge's exception. Anyone gentlemen who have hats or hoods on, please remove them at this time. Any graduates still in the room, I'm going to ask you to please join us in the hallway. And for everyone else, just relax. We are about to get this graduation ceremony started because it is the most wonderful time of the year. All right now. So we're just about to get started. As a matter of fact, Mr. Chapman, am I too old to be in the Rosa Parks High School Choir? Oh, wonderful. The 60s show? I want to be Aretha Franklin. Okay. So, again, we're just about to get started. So, turn to the person next to you and say, you know what? Adrian said, you look fabulous. Okay, guys. Thank you, Judge. You look fabulous. We're going off script. The female choir is going to do one jazz piece for us. Oh, it's a soloist. Wonderful.
Alex? So we have a track for this, but I'm going to play it on my phone from here, and she'll sing it from there. So let me introduce this to you guys. I'm a big believer in jazz, Broadway, certainly R&B, and we study. How many of you guys have heard of Ella Fitzgerald? One of the greatest singers of this century. So a number of our students have learned Ella's songs and her improvisations, and Anatalia is going to do one-note samba. So it's a Brazilian tune that was done by Ella, I think in '74, but the amazing thing is the solo that she does, a lot of hard work. And I just want to acknowledge that we have 4 or 5 young people who can do these kind of songs, but we'll let Anatalia go. As soon as I learn how to work this.
This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the root is still that note. Now this new one is the consequence of the one we've just been through, as I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence of you. There's so many people who can talk and talk and say nothing, really nothing. I have used up all the skill I know, and that may not come to nothing, really nothing. So I come back to my first note as I come back to you. I will pour into that one note all the love I feel for you. Anyone who wants the whole show, re mi fa sol la si do, he will find himself with no show. Better play the note you know.
Begin to tell you how incredibly hard that solo is. And I just want to take this moment to say we are available for birthdays, christenings, bar mitzvahs. If you need a chorus, we perform for free. Just letting you know.
Oh, it's on. Okay, who knows? I don't care. I think we're going to start late from now on. Wow. You did both Miss Ella Fitzgerald and the composer Antonio Carlos Jobim quite an honor. You did right by them. That was fabulous. Let's give her another round of applause, please.
That soloist's name is Anatalia Aponte. However, you cannot only book her, she comes with the chorus.
There's a package. Miss Aponte, congratulations. Thank you, and thank you. All right, Ms. Burke.
Yes, Mr. Chapman, forget about my inquiry about being in the chorus. I'm going to sit down. Okay, Alex, if you could begin the pomp and circumstance, and Officer Turk, if you could direct our graduates to come in, please. These are the ones that overcame it all. They have stayed the course. Today is their day. They're happy to be here. Their families are ecstatic. We're ecstatic. And we are just ready to hear their stories, celebrate their excellence and their success. These are the champions, the class of November 2022. Probation, give yourself a hand. Treatment providers, give yourself a hand. Task evaluators, give yourself a hand. They didn't do it by themselves. I'm just going to ask the graduates to fill the first row, please. The second people in the second row, please fill the first row. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't they look beautiful? Recovery has a essence. It has a look. You're looking at recovery. You're looking at the struggle. You're looking at the success. Okay. I want to welcome you to the Passaic County Recovery Court graduation. And we're blessed to be here today. We're blessed to share in this ceremony. We're happy for each and every participant who made it to this place. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of hard work from them and our staff and our providers and their networks. So I'm just going to ask that we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Judge, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. All right. Right hands on your chest. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I don't hear anybody. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started with the celebration, there are some people we want to remember. They have gone on to their eternal rest, and we want to remember them today. So in honor of that, I'm going to read today's reading from the Just for Today meditation, and then the choir is also going to give us a selection. It says, walking through the pain, we never have to use again, no matter how we feel. All feelings will eventually pass. It hurts like never before. You get out of bed after a sleepless night, talk to God, and still don't feel any better. It will pass, a little voice tells you. When? You wonder as you pace and mutter and get on with your day. You sob in your car and turn the radio all the way up so you can't hear your own thoughts. But you go straight to work and don't even think about using drugs. Your insides feel as though they've never been torched. Just when the pain becomes unbearable, you go numb and silent. You go to a meeting and wish you were as happy as other members seem to be, but you don't relapse. You cry some more and call your spouse. You drive to a friend's house and don't even notice the beautiful scenery because your inner landscape is so bleak. You may not feel any better after visiting your friend, but at least you didn't visit the connection instead. You listen to a fifth step. You share at a meeting. You look at the calendar and realize you've gotten through another day clean. Then one day you wake up, look outside and realize it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, you take a deep breath, smile again, and know that it really does pass. Just for today, no matter how I feel today, I'll go on with my recovery. Today we remember you, Thaddeus Wilder. You are not forgotten. You are remembered. John Dobson, we remember you today. You have not been forgotten. Edwin Cruz, one of our treatment providers, staff persons. Edwin, we remember you today, and you have not been forgotten. And finally, Patricia Napolitano, we remember you today. You have not been forgotten. I'm going to ask the choir to come up now.
say the rain must fall. Make it rain. Make it rain. Love, love, love the sunshine out.
Hit Broadway in the movies.
That's the truth. And what a message for today, not just for graduation, but for our society. Shower the people with love. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to introduce our master of ceremony for the day. Not that he needs any introduction. Many of you know him well, but for those of you who don't, the Honorable Miguel de la Carrera is our recovery court judge, and he is absolutely phenomenal. He's the man of the hour, multiple hours of the day. I could say many things. I could talk about how much he loves espresso. I could talk about his trips to the Philippines. I could talk about all his history lessons, his pronunciations, and all of the things that he tells us about. But right now, I'm just going to say, not only is he the recovery court judge, but he is also the fashion police. So all of our participants know that we're required to wear a shirt and tie in court, and he is the one who checks all of that out. But today, he is our master of ceremony. So, Judge, welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Miss Bird. She must actually like me. I didn't have to pay for that. Anyway, I want to welcome everybody here to our second Recovery Court graduation ceremony. The first was this past May, after Drug Court was renamed Recovery Court. Obviously, we had many Drug Court graduations before that. You'll be hearing more about that name change from our keynote speaker shortly. He's the author, the architect of that name change. This is, as I say, the second in-person graduation since the onset of the pandemic of COVID-19. We had 4 virtual ones on Zoom and live streamed before that. Today, like the last one, is a hybrid ceremony. We used to have to turn people away because this room was packed, but this is being live streamed. We have no way of knowing how many people are watching, but just this morning I learned from a sheriff's officer at the courthouse that the mayor of Haledon got wind of this graduation and put it on his website. So there are people watching beyond those who are here because it's important. I want to welcome all of you who are here, the graduates, their families and friends, the newer participants in Recovery Court, and our entire Recovery Court team. Our Recovery Court team, and we always refer to it as a team, although some people have said a family, consists of 36 dedicated professionals who work very closely with treatment program partners. Our team consists of 13 probation officers, 5 task evaluators, who are, and many others who I'll mention in a moment. But those folks, the probation officers, the task evaluators, really are the keys to our team. They truly, truly care, and I think they're the finest in the state. They do not just punch the clock. Here. We have an assistant prosecutor, of course. We have 2 public defenders. We have administrative staff who prepare sentencing reports and do lots of other paperwork, and there's my chamber staff. And all of us are supported in many ways by the Sheriff's Department. But I want to read the names of the people that I've mentioned to you at this time, and odds are I'll forget somebody, and if I do, I apologize, okay? You all know our coordinator, Adrian Bird. And most of you know our team leader, Matt Coppola. Most of you knew our prosecutor, Patrick Breen. He's been transferred recently. We have Nejla Atta is our new AP. We have two public defenders, Liz Walsh, whom many of you know, and we have a new one. Jillian Elko is newly reassigned. Ed Balkus is our other PD. Our task evaluators are Karen Douglas, Eden Nguintan, Ashley Jaramillo, Sarah Pasquino, and Carolyn Majewski. We have probation supervisors Lydia de Blasio. Everyone has a fan club. Ashley Jackson, Mirna Villanueva. We have our criminal division manager with us today, John Harrison. Our probation officers, and hold the applause because you all want to cheer for your POs, I know. Till the end of the POs, okay? Brian Arana, Evan Hutchins. Hold the applause. You're graduates. You should know how to follow the rules by now. Brian Arana, Evan Hutchins, Erica Maldonado, Gloria Pierre-Lewis, Erica Rivero, Diana Rosario, Tahir Rouse, David Stoll, Kristen Wunk, Stephen Masonave, Sabine No, Christina Sanchez, and James Thorpe. Now. All right. We have our court clerks, Anjanae, better known as A.J. Chapman, no relation, and Marisol Caicedo, my law clerk, Megan McMullen, secretary, Kim Carney, our pre-sentence investigation probation officers, Caitlin DeCastro, Brianna Rosado, and Miriam Roman. And you have no idea how much they work. That's right. Our Motivational Monday facilitator, who will be addressing you later as well, James Johansson. And our treatment providers, and I'm going to name the people who are representatives. They actually meet with us every Tuesday to review cases, and those are from Eva's Village, Angela Terry, from Turning Point, Claribel Ortiz, from Options, Ron Barovic, from Straight and Narrow, Mark Person, Michael Rivera from Passaic Alliance, and who am I leaving out? Anyway, I think I'm leaving somebody out, but, all right. That said, I want to, at this point, introduce another speaker. He's been almost as many recovery court graduations as I have, recovery and drug court graduations. Our presiding judge of the criminal division, Sohail Mohammed, he just comes because he wants to. He enjoys these ceremonies enormously, and I invite Judge Mohammed to address you.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations to our class. On behalf of our assignment judge, Judge Capicella, our trial court administrator, Robert Tracy, our division manager here, John Harrison, and to the entire team that includes, I'm not going to name names, but I have to, Matt Coppola, Adrian Bird, and all of the POs. And like Judge De La Carrera said, this is one event that I have not missed since I've been a judge. I've been a judge for 11 years now. I have not missed a single event. Even when I'm on vacation, I made it a point to come here, stop by. You know, graduates, the reason is, just look in here. When everyone thought that you're not going to make it, when everyone thought that it cannot be done. You took the step, you took the path, and along the way, you met folks, your family, your friends who supported you. And today you see the success because this is the work of a team. And this recovery court, which our esteemed keynote speaker will talk about, phenomenal keynote speaker that you have today. What this path that you have taken is, nobody knew what this path was. Just look back and say, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, did I know what I was going to be? But you have achieved it. The success is yours. But just remember, there are a lot more people that are in line, and you can be a role model. You can be that person to say, I did it, and you can do it too, and I'm there for you. With that, thank you very much, Judge Miguel de la Carrera. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Muhammad. All right. All right. Yes. No, not yet. She tried to take the mic out of my hands because I told her I have a speech. I always do. I always say I'm going to shorten it, and then I don't. So my apologies to our keynote speaker and Mr. Johansson. But apart from those who are here, there are, again, people watching, family, friends, and who knows who. And some people need to know more about Recovery Court than others, and certainly our Phase 1s who are here. What is Recovery Court and why does it exist? Recovery Court was born in Dade County, Florida, more than 30 years ago, and gradually expanded around the country. It reached New Jersey in 1997, and at least Passaic County, and it's now in every state and some territories. Recovery Court is the single greatest initiative in criminal justice reform in U.S. history. It's a whole different approach. It's a cooperative approach to dealing with the issues before us rather than the adversarial approach of state versus defendant, trials and the like. Some cases have to be tried, but most don't. And this is the best new approach that's been taken to date. And the idea is to deal with the root cause of most crime, which is addiction. One addict and active addiction signifies dozens, if not hundreds, of crimes, from burglaries to distribution to feed addictions, and the cost to society is enormous. There are individual victims, businesses, taxpayers, health facilities which are overtaxed. Addiction is also a major public health problem. Emergency rooms are flooded with people experiencing overdoses. Last year, we set a record, the kind of record you don't want to set nationally. There was a spike in opioid overdose during the pandemic, and we passed the 100,000 mark for the year, about 107,000. And of course, as you know, mostly fentanyl-induced. New Jersey, on the other hand, and maybe a little bit due to our success of our recovery courts, we've held steady. We were actually one of 4 states that went down last year a little bit. We're still in the 3,000 a year range, but we're doing a little better than the rest of the country in that regard. But remember that beyond that 107,000, our single biggest killer is still alcohol. Addiction remains the leading cause of death, period, for people in the age range of 25 to 44. Much of what's involved in the system leads to incarceration, but incarceration is also an expensive proposition. So society benefits in multiple ways, and taxpayers spend much less money by getting people who are addicted and have committed offenses into recovery. And recovery court works. This is my second stint in recovery court. When I first came on the bench 20 plus years ago, it was one of my assignments. We were so small then that I had recovery court and a trial calendar. I presided over our first graduation shortly after taking the bench in 2002. There were about 6 people there. You may see a film clip of it playing in the, whatever that is, by the elevators in 77 Hamilton. There's a running clip there, and there's footage from that graduation. Since then, and that was an annual one. We now have 2 graduations a year, about 30 people in each, sometimes more, sometimes less. There are actually 27 people in this graduating class for this 6-month period, only 16 of whom, by my last count, are actually here. Many people graduate in court before this ceremony. They're all invited to join. Some have jobs and other things they're doing, and it's kind of like the people who don't go to their high school reunions and things. Some people just don't make it. But anyway, we wish they all would. But I have the pleasure, and it is an absolute pleasure, to see the remarkable turnarounds in the lives of people who've been written off by society and often by their own families. I've seen opioid addicts who were eating out of garbage cans, literally, or even people who were chiefly addicted to the lifestyle of drug distribution, turn their lives around completely. As a result of recovery courts, there are now 7,000 plus graduates in the state of New Jersey, more than 500 from Passaic County alone. Most of the graduates qualify for expungements of their entire criminal records. We've had people expunge 24 plus convictions. And one of the most important things is that whether people graduate or not, 2/3 of those who start ultimately finish. And that represents a lot. 90% of the people here are employed by the time they finish. I've been, I have to say, rather amazed at how many people are employed even early on in recovery court these days, because as you know, we're only requiring phase 1s and the unemployed to appear personally in court. And we never do more than fill the jury box or people who are anticipating sanctions. The courtroom used to be packed. It's not now. People are reporting from work by Zoom and the like, which is a good thing and a change that we hope to continue to follow. But I'm actually quite impressed by how many people get on track with employment as early on as they do. And you'll be hearing a lot more about the importance of employment from our keynote speaker shortly. But family dysfunction is reversed in the process of people getting into recovery, and family reunification is achieved. As you hear me and other people tell you often, addiction is a brain disease, a brain disorder, but it's a treatable one. Through the programs that you go to, and many of you with the help of MAT, remarkable things happen. Since I may not have a chance later, I'm going to add something that we don't normally address. I just want to give some brief thoughts on the biggest legal change that we've had regarding drugs in New Jersey in the last year or two, and that's the legalization of marijuana. Last year, last spring, I went with my wife to hike up in Watkins Glen, New York, and I saw a sign that said, "Legal doesn't mean safe." Like alcohol, which was the first drug that was made illegal back in 1920, done nationally through constitutional amendment, until it was re-legalized in 1933. Marijuana is, with restrictions, legal now, but doesn't mean it's safe. Alcohol, as I mentioned a moment ago, is the deadliest drug of all. More than fentanyl, more than everything. Doesn't ordinarily kill instantly the way fentanyl can, but and same with marijuana. It's not an instant killer, but it has serious health effects. Long-term use can lead to an impact on brain development, especially if you start young. It increases the risk of anxiety and depression and psychoses. It may affect memory and attention, and it can impair important functions like driving, just like alcohol can, and it can affect lung health. All right, that said, and that's the reason why just like alcohol, which you know is not permitted when you're in recovery court. It's a legal substance with restrictions, but that's why we don't allow it in recovery court. All right, I want to introduce you, unless Ms. Bird, since I only saw the program a little while ago, I don't know if our keynote is next, or Ms. Johansson? Okay, all right. Mark, we're keeping you on ice there. Okay.
At this time, I'd like to call Mr. James Johansson from Damon House in New Brunswick. Give it up. He is the Director of Special Services. He is also the facilitator of our Motivational Mondays, also known as the Phase 4, Phase 5 groups. Mr. Johansson, if you ever get an email from him, all of his accolades are just run the full length of the paper, all the alphabet. He is phenomenal. He is a man of faith. He is a man in recovery, and he's also a real person. And I just want to say today, I appreciate you, Mr. Johansson. You've partnered along with our Recovery Court program with passion, and you've been consistent, and I really, really, really want to thank you. Please.
Good morning. It is an honor and privilege to be here. We send greetings from our Executive Director for 40 years, Eileen Bradley at Damon House, and our current Executive Director, Jackie Weiss. When I walk in Damon House, I've been there 20 years. When I walk in the back door and I go up the steps, I say 2 words. I want you to help me out with that. I walk in, I say, yay, yay. I want you to say yay. All right, ready? Yay. Man, come on, man. I've been up since 4 o'clock with my Bustelo, with the sock, with the leche con azúcar, making a mix. Come on, we are excited about these graduations. So my name is James Johansson. Let's start this again. Yay, yay. Yay. All right. So we're excited. So my name is James Johansson. I'm a Pattersonian, raised on a street called Van Houten Street. Ever heard of Van Houten Street? Raise your hand. Moved over to Belmont Ave and North 9th Street. I'm one of 21 kids. I have 20 brothers and sisters. My mother's Norwegian. My father's African American, Cherokee, Indian, and Puerto Rican. So we have the melting pot, literally. So I'm a person in long-term recovery since March 20th, 1992. And as I was sitting in the cell, some of you may have heard of, called 3G3 in Passaic County Jail at the age of 19. Getting ready to face 4 years in prison after being in and out. I was ready to change. And as I walked before the judge, a judge that I always give honor to, the late Judge Rothenberg, and I had a public defender named Laura Daddio. They gave me an opportunity to send me to a faith-based program called Youth Challenge. Come on now. And it was through that process. I was ready. And through that process, we were able to dig deep roots. And the stages of change. I'm a clinician, so the stages of change, I was ready. And I was there 10 years and went on to college in Florida. And I remember probation. I was on probation. In fact, when I went to college in Florida, I had to have honorary supervision in Florida and pay them money every month to supervise me. Came back, finished that up, and we're so grateful. And I've been the last 20 years at Damon House. But I'll be short. I'm long-winded, right? I don't know if it's me or the chair, but the chair last time I was here was a little tight now. It's a little tight. I don't know if it's because of the, chicharron or the pasteles or the, come on. It's holiday season. And this is the season to be thankful. Your attitude will determine your altitude. You don't hear me right now. All right. So we need to come with an attitude. They've come a long way. Right? Let's give it up for the graduates. So Ms. Bird asked me to talk about new beginnings and keeping your recovery. So I'd like you to say the word with me, nuevo. That means new. You never thought you were going to get a Spanish lesson this morning, too. New beginnings. A good friend of mine came out with a book this week called The Book of Jose. His name is Fat Joe, good friend of mine. And the beauty about a book is you get to write a new chapter. Yesterday, I had the opportunity as a clinician at Damon House to do a send-off for one of my clients. And every time I do the exit interview, I give everybody that leaves a pen. And I say, you get the opportunity to write a new chapter.
Yes, sir.
New beginnings.
Yes, sir.
How many people like things that are new?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Don't give me nothing old.
Yes, sir.
I want something new. His mercies are new every morning.
Every morning.
Come on, somebody.
Every morning.
New beginnings. So we're so excited that they finished this course, but they're on to new things.
Yes, sir.
New beginnings. New season. As we move into Thanksgiving, we're in a new season. And as these gentlemen and ladies finish up here, they're going into a new season. And during this Thanksgiving season, may they never forget the role that Recovery Court has played in their life. What's the goal of Recovery Court? Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands, right? You thought you was going to be here chilling, right? Let me see your hands. I call these piggies. These are piggies. I got a 4-year-old son. We play piggies. The role of Recovery Court was to help engage, put your hand out, attach, and then slowly back out. The role of Recovery Court was to engage you, attach you, and then slowly back out. And as they backed out, Recovery Court, as we see these graduates, they are now able to move on to new beginnings. Second part, keeping your recovery. The goal of keeping your recovery is summed up in one phrase I use. Accountability brings sustainability. If you choose to hold yourself accountable, see, I have the same sponsor for the last 30 years of my recovery. I do step work. I sponsor 10 guys. Right? I'm a pastor in North Heldon. I do many other things. I choose to hold myself accountable, and that brings sustainability. So we want these men and women to continue to choose to hold themselves accountable, right? And as we move on and continue to press on, today these guys and ladies are called hope dealers. They're known as peace pushers. They're also serenity sellers, and they're truth tellers. Thank you.
All right. It was the chair, Mr. Johansson. Eddie. All right. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Mr. Johansson. As you can tell, he's been a previous keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker today, as I say, I think we should just call him the Godfather of Recovery Court. Judge Mark Sanson is a native of Atlantic City. This is his first visit to Patterson. We're going for a little tour of the Great Falls or the Lou Costello Monument later. But he practiced law for 30 years, and even having retired from the bench, and while he was on the bench, he did everything. He did general equity, he did criminal, he did family. He's still involved with Recovery Court. He's the vice chair of the jobs program, focusing on employment as an important key to recovery. And without further ado, he'll tell you the story of the change to Recovery Court. So,
Thank you very much. I first want to tell all you guys, hello, I'm Mark Sanson. I'm a retired Superior Court judge. In the New Jersey Superior Court system, when you turn 70, you're determined to be senile. So if I say things don't make any sense, it's because I'm senile, constitutionally senile. In any event, I just want to let you know, first of all, following Mr. Johansson is not going to be a day at the beach, but I'm going to do the best I can. In Passaic County, it is known all over the state, you have the best recovery court in the state of New Jersey. I cannot tell you the respect with which Judge De La Carrera and Adrian and Matt are held throughout the state. They have a large program, they have a successful program, and this is no accident. It's because they give a damn. And, you go around the state, you see different recovery courts, as I have seen, you can tell real programs. This is a real program. Judge Muhammad, you are to be commended for supporting it, because without the support of the judiciary at higher levels, this does not happen. There's a huge amount of resources that have been given to Judge De La Carrera to do his job, and they're needed. Okay, so they told me to come up here for a keynote speech. I didn't exactly know what it was till I got here, but they want to talk about recovery court, which I think is an important thing to talk about. I'm going to talk about it just for a second. I'm not going to keep you guys long. For years, since 2002, when the statute was first passed, it was drug court, drug court, drug court. Drug court was a national movement. It was a really helpful movement. It moved people who had substance abuse issues, who committed crimes because of those substance abuse issues, and they moved them out of the mainstream of the criminal courts. It was no longer a punishment. It was a treatment program, a treatment court. It's a big departure throughout the country, drug courts everywhere. I was made a drug court judge about 6 or 7 years ago. And at that time, when everybody came into the court, I had a large program in Atlantic and Cape May. I'm from Atlantic City. And I did a survey of the people that came in. I found out that when they pled in, 80% of the people who pled in, we had about 1,000 people in Atlantic Cape May. It was gigantic because I let everybody in, which is good and bad, and we can discuss that another time. But the reality was 80% were unemployed. 80%, and this was when there was 4 or 5% unemployment in our area and throughout the country. Shouldn't have surprised me. People who were getting high all the time are not great employees. So they were unemployed, and then the 20% who said they were self-professed to be employed, when we drilled down deeper, we found that they were employed at hourly work, clean leaves, clean trees, and believe me, trust me, all work is honorable. I stand behind that. I love to see people working. I don't care what they're doing as long as it's legal. But they had no benefits. They were the last in line at the hospital with their kids. They had to wait 8 hours till their kids got a Tylenol and were sent home. So you can't be a real citizen of this state or resident of this state without a job. It's hard to do. Some people are disabled and can't do it. I get it. But if you're able to do something, you should be doing it because it gives you the self-esteem that people who have substance abuse issues traditionally lack. So I happen to know a guy. It all happens when you know a guy. Be nice to the people you know. They may come in handy one day. I knew a guy who was involved with the reopening of the Trump Taj Mahal, which had been sold to Carl Icahn. It was a failure, and that was sold to the Hard Rock people. So they needed 4,000 employees within 3 months. I had 800 people in drug court in Atlantic and Cape May, and I was asked, I went to them. I said, hey, what's the deal? Now, a judge getting off his rear end and getting out into the community was not exactly, it's totally changed now. It's totally changed, but at that time, it was not something that was favored. But I had a really great boss, my assignment judge. He said, do it. And I went there. I went to the Casino Control Commission, and the Hard Rock people needed 4,000 people. I said, look, I have 800 people. They want to work. They've been sober for at least 6 months. That was the criteria. And they were very nice. I said, hey, I got to tell you, we're just opening a new casino. We have competitors in this town. If it gets around that we're hiring 800 people in drug court, that is not going to be good for business. And I get it. So I was working with a guy who was one of the owners of Hard Rock. And I said, well, he said to me, or I said to him, his name is Joe Gingoli, he's a very close friend of mine. He said, well, let's just call it something different. Let's call it recovery court. Made it up on the fly. And I said, well, I just can't rename the court recovery court without, there's 15 layers in the judiciary of getting it done. But we went to the casino first, and we said, does recovery court work? As stupid as it is, and it turned out not to be so stupid, changing the name of something sometimes has good consequences. What you call something means something, right? So they said, oh, no, they went to the executives and this and that. And recovery court's fine. We'll hire everybody you got as long as it's called recovery court. So then I had to go to see the Chief Justice. I had to go see Judge Grant, who's the head of the administrative office of the courts. These are all people that Judge Muhammad and Judge De La Carrera know well. And, sat there. They stared at me. I couldn't tell whether they were digging it or not. I said, look, if you get people jobs, you can turn it around. So they finally said, yeah, in Atlantic, hey, May, you can be recovery court, but we have a unitary court system, and we're nervous about it, and we should call everything the same thing. I said, okay, but just give me a chance. So when we started the program, there was a 50% success rate. That meant that everybody who pled into recovery court, drug court at that time, only 50% graduated at the end of the road, which is at that time was 5 years, not 3 years or 2 years. It was 5 years. So it took 5 years. 50% or less succeeded to graduate, and there were no expungements then, but there are now, thank goodness. And when I left, when I was kicked out, when I turned 70, the success rate was up to over 90%. That meant of everybody who slid into drug court, 90% of the people graduated and got their record expunged. Why? It's because they had a job. It is very difficult to sit at home all day and think about nothing other than drinking and doing drugs. If you have something to do during the day for 8, 10, 12 hours, and you're getting paid for it, and you have benefits, you don't want to lose that. You don't want to walk away from it because you met some idiot at 2 o'clock in the morning with whom you're going to do drugs, and he's going to end up shooting you in the head. You know, you have to face that stress as well. It's a dumb way of living. It's just dumb. And people want to have a job. It helps their self-esteem. So we went with that. It was very successful. I proved the program out. The judges in the state, I think, wanted to change the recovery court. But as of January the 1st, recovery court was changed from drug court to recovery court throughout the state of New Jersey, and I think that is a good thing. I think it will be more successful. I think more people will graduate from this program and get an expungement because they are employed. And employed people are less likely to commit crimes than unemployed people. I don't think you have to be a genius to figure that out. And we're keeping statistics, and that we're going to prove it. We're now engaged in a statewide jobs program through the judiciary. The judiciary is getting out of its lane of just sitting behind a bench all day and saying yes, no, all these binary choices we have to make, and they're able to get out into the community and help people get jobs. That's a story for another day. I did have actually a keynote speech written, which I'm going to shorten because I don't want to bore anybody. I started here. I have 2 riddles and a poem. And that's going to be my entire keynote speech. The first riddle it's by a Chinese philosopher from the 6th century BC. His name is Lao Tzu. Here it is, 3 lines. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you use it, it is everywhere and it is inexhaustible. Does anybody, where's Mr. Johansson? Where are you? Are you here still? He's here. Oh, where are you? Raise your hand. What is it? What's the answer to my riddle? You got it. You're a genius. When you look for it, there is nothing to see. When you listen for it, there is nothing to hear. When you see it, it is everywhere and it is inexhaustible. As Mr. Johansson said, I knew we would get it right. The answer is recovery. When I've been asked exactly what is recovery, and people have asked me all the time, I know that it is more than not just doing drinking or using addictive substances. It's a state of mind and body. It is peace coming from the deepest part of your soul. I would often answer people, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Look at them. That's what recovery looks like. They can't see it. We can see it. You guys are shining. Okay? You are shining. You once were lost and now have found. So it is something that is everywhere, and it is inexhaustible. Nobody can take it from you. God forbid if you relapse. You will still have it, but you're going to have to find it again. Don't make that have to happen. It's too hard to do. You've got it now. Hold on to it. You can have it for the rest of your life. Right, Mr. Johansson? Got it. And I always ask people in recovery, would they ever want to go through the process again? And the answer is obviously no. The path to recovery is hard. To paraphrase another riddle, it's like walking on the edge of a straight razor. It is not easy, but you've done it. I'm now going to read you my second riddle, which some of you may have, but if you have, I don't care. You're going to hear it again. It's an old Lenape Indian parable. Actually, Judge De La Carrera, when I was discussing with him, said it's not Lenape, it's Cherokee. Well, the Lenapes, by the way, 400 years ago, there would be Lenapes right here, walking around. They were here. The Lenapes were here. The Cherokees were out west someplace. So I prefer to call it you don't mind, Judge De La Carrera. No, it's a Lenape story. And I think there's some justification in what I've read about it. And maybe you've heard it, but these kids have not heard it, so they're going to enjoy it. And this is important, particularly for you guys. One evening, an old Lenape Indian told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, faith, and forgiveness." The grandson asked his grandfather, after he thought about it for about a minute, and asked his grandfather, "Which wolf wins, grandfather?" The wise old Lenape said, "The one you feed." So if you feed the bad wolf within you, bad things are going to happen. If you guys remember, if you feed the good wolf of truth and beauty and happiness and peace, that wolf will win within you. And it exists within all of us. And just as a concluding poem, I'm going to read the following, which has always meant a lot to me. I first read it in a long, long time ago. It's called the Desiderata. Did you ever hear it, Judge De La Carrera? It's great. When Judge De La Carrera and I went to college in the early 18th century, people would often have this on their walls. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's worth hearing. All right, here it goes. Go placidly among the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is filled with trickery. But let this not blind you to the virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is filled with heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit and shield you which will shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. Thank you very much for hearing me. I'm immensely proud of these people who are sitting here. Many of you know, some of you had to walk the same walk. The journey they have taken was a hard one, and they're now here, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of Passaic County's Recovery Court program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Judge Sampson. That poem, Desiderata, was everywhere in sight back in the day, in the 18th century.
I think you read it with Thomas Jefferson.
He used to copy off my exams. Anyway, all right. I believe, Ms. Byrd, that we are ready now for the graduates. Oh, we have music. What am I talking about? You didn't mark the music in the program. Not on my version. Oh, yes, it is. You know what it is? It's before Judge Sanson. The order was reversed. That's why I didn't see it.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light with you. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
Introduce this next song. So the title is Proud, and I just read the other day that it's actually from a TV show. I forgot the name of the TV show. But if you guys listen to the words, there couldn't be any song, and I think we're going to make this a yearly song for Recovery Court. The words are so profound. So hope you all enjoy it. And we do have to leave after this, so I want to say thank you to Judge, Adrian, and all you guys and the graduates. Thank you so much for having us.
I look into the
the crown jewels of our community. Thank you so much. I want to thank Rosa Parks High School, Principal Thompson, and Choir Director John Chapman for their dedication and service. Thank you so much. Be well. I'll be in touch later. Okay. The best, absolutely the best choir in the state of New Jersey. All right. By the way, so as the choir's leaving, I'm reminded I left out one person in our recovery court team, Turk. Now speaking to John Chapman. Let's give Turk a hand. I don't know what he does yet, but he's there. Anywho. All right. Ms. Bird?
Yes, Judge. Here we go. Let's step out of the ordinary. I love that. Okay, we're ready to present our graduates with their awards. And the first officer that we are going to call is Officer No.
Also known as Dr. No.
Dr. No. You find Dr. No's people. There they go. I'm sorry. Oh, the names of the people? Oh, okay. Okay. The first person, Officer No, if you would grab the star there on the table as well as one of the bags to give to your participant. The first person we have is Sydney Belfield.
Here, here.
Ouch. Oops, sorry.
I mean, recovery court did wonders for me. My childhood was innocent, but my teenage years where I made my bad decision. My choice of drugs was alcohol, heroin, and cocaine. It ain't start from there, it started from my attitude. I realized that after being introduced to recovery court. And it cost me 27 years of my freedom. And it bothers me, still to the day. But that's something I can't go back and retract. I had to make my future brighter. So I constantly take the tools they gave me. My tools were hope, sharing, caring, and patience. And I really worked on them. Stay focused. And I've been hearing a lot of bad stuff about drug court, but nobody never told me the good part. That's when I accepted that challenge. Not only I accepted it, but they accepted me to accept it. So 2011, I posted got drug court. They told me I couldn't get it. Kicking, banging the walls, acting up. But I wasn't ready. And they knew I wasn't ready, but I knew I wasn't ready. So 2018, I got that shot again. And they see that I was ready. Most of all, my higher power did. He gave me that chance to redeem myself. So I want to thank Judge Della Guerrera, Ms. Bird, Ms. Null, and the recovery court team for participating in this recovery for me. Thank you.
Mr. Belfield, who's one of our perennial best dressed. Congratulations. Come over here, Belfield. Shake my hand.
Oh, yes.
I think you're going. Okay. All right. Actually, he got an extra chance because 6 months in, he hadn't quite been ready yet, and he came this close to spending some more years in prison, but that last time he really got it, and here he is. He's a graduate. Congratulations.
Next, we have Tashay Travis. Now, I just have to say a few words about Miss Travis. Don't forget her star in her bag, please. Tashay. Woo! She did it. You're right, she did it. Tashay, you have climbed the mountain up to, oh my gosh!
We'll sit right there.
Tashay, you are a true overcomer. Congratulations.
Okay, let me just say, my 4 years on drug court, I know I gave y'all a run for y'all money. I know I gave my grandmother, my kids. I just want to say, as my recovery court journey slowly comes to an end, I would like to thank the whole team and my family for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I remember my recovery court sentencing like it was yesterday. A few days after my friend was murdered, sitting in the hallway as to what I felt like signing my life away. I just wanted to escape. I didn't have any purpose. I was broken. Popping pills, drinking, smoking. I was doing anything to escape my reality. And the thought of who I was in that moment sickened me. Knowing how I was raised and how hard my grandmother worked to fill the void of my absent mother and father and disregarding it like I've done everything else in my life at that moment. I didn't take anything serious, almost losing my kids, completely staying stuck, nothing mattered to me. I was looking for a way out mentally. For a long time, all I did was just enough to survive. As I think about that time in my life, I can only be grateful that God hasn't given up on me. The Bible says if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. But I had none. I had nothing. My little sister died at the hands of another man, and I literally felt my soul leave my body. After my self-battle with domestic violence for years, not knowing my worth and loving on me, you would think that made me change, right? Nope, it didn't. I ran from recovery court. I ran from my children. I ran from life. It took until I got caught 9 months later, sitting in the Passaic County Jail, calling home on Halloween to find out my grandmother had lost her life. I lost her battle with cancer. In that very moment, I knew I had to get it together, going to her funeral with a bracelet around my ankle and turning myself into a short-term program shortly after. Not being able to grieve my loss was properly was extremely hard on me. I lost a lot during this journey, but the faith I gained has been overwhelming. I knew I didn't want to go back and forth to the county and possibly prison to be the life for the rest of my life. After I was released, I went to yet another IOP, which helped put my life into perspective. I actually started working the steps and in the process worked on myself. For the first time in forever, I feel free of shame and drugs. Every day is a chance for change. Every day I strive to be better than I was yesterday. A better mother, a better friend, a better woman. I finally have a life worth living. I finally wake up and have something to look forward to. This chapter of my life is coming to an end, but my book isn't written yet. My story isn't told. My two oldest sons, Nair and Zaire, Major and Amiri, this one is for us. Thank you.
I just wanted to say quickly, I'm proud of all of my participants, but Tashay really holds a special place in my heart because she has put me through so much. And I am so proud of you, Tashay. Like, that is the definition of perseverance, the definition of if you want to, you will do it, the definition of anybody can do it. I am extremely proud of you. Good job, Tashay.
And Tashay, is this your grandmother? Please, I want to hug you because I want to thank you. There's so many people behind the scenes that keep it all together. Thank you so much. Ooh, girl, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. To all the people behind the scenes, and we don't know their names, we don't know what they do, their prayers. Take care of your children. And oh, Lord, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Brandon Perry. Thank you. I was looking right at the name. Stand close to the mic, Brendan, so everybody can hear you.
I would like to thank the drug team committee, my probation officer, and Judge Dela Carrera for giving me the opportunity to redirect my life to a new path. When I first started drug court, I thought it was kind of like a setup because I really didn't want to be on it, and I got remanded to the Passaic County Jail. But as time went on, I sat back and reflected on my life and where I wanted to go with it, and I realized that the right way is the only way. Back and forth in the county jail, back and forth in prison, back and forth in programs is not the way. And I don't want my kids to end up that way, and I don't want that. I don't want my family seeing me like that. So I just would like to thank y'all again, and be safe, and God bless.
Okay, next we have Officer Pierre Lewis. Yes, if you would just get a star in one of the bags, and I'll give you the coin for Jessica Torres.
I'm old school with it. I brought a little notepad.
All right.
First, I'd like to thank God, my Lord and Savior, for giving me the strength and courage to keep me going on a clean and strong through this recovery. I'd like to thank Recovery Court team for believing in me enough to let me do my time on the streets. If it weren't for you guys, I would have been doing 5 years, missing, the teenage years of my children. And I wouldn't even have my bundle of joy that's over there in the corner. I'd like to thank my family too, my mother, my brother, significant other, for always having my back no matter what. And my children, for loving me unconditionally. Sorry. And never stop loving me. Even when the disease of addiction had transformed me into another person. Miss Pierre Lewis, an angel in disguise. She stood by my side through the whole journey. I didn't just confide in her as my officer. This woman was my friend, my mentor, my big sister, my hero, my inspiration. You're everything I needed while I was here. And for that, I thank you and I love you. For all the individuals on phase 1, Recovery Court is real. It works just as long as you're ready and willing to let it work. These people are amazing, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make your recovery journey a success. You just got to put in the footwork. I'm grateful to be here right now, but the journey doesn't stop here. Thanks.
Okay, next we have Richard Marte.
Good morning. My name is Richard Marte. When I came into drug court, I was lost and confused. I didn't know who I was because I built my life on lies. I never aspired to be anything great. The only two positive things that had came out of my life were my daughter LNS and my son Liam. Going to jail honestly was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I needed to be in there. I broke myself down piece by piece and rebuilt myself into the man I am today. I have a really great job now. I recently just became supervisor. I'm full-time in my kids' lives and being a role model that they needed me to be. This program is designed to push you to your limits, to see how you react under pressure, to use the tools you learn in treatment. I have learned how to be pushed, to pick my battles instead of always arguing my point, to count to 10 when I'm upset and not to give up because things get hard. My best piece of advice I can give to my fellow peers in drug court is don't ever let anyone label you. Be more than a recovering addict. Figure out who you want to be and define yourself. You don't have to live under a negative label for the rest of your life, and only you can change what you are viewed as. I used to be ashamed of my life and who I was. Don't be ashamed of your past. Use it. Remember where you came from and use it to help others, to inspire yourself and the people around you. If you are here to this for a reason, don't ever think it's by mistake. Everyone has potential and everyone can change it if they will it. My real journey starts now that I leave drug court. It is easy to live a life when you are told what to do, when you have someone constantly holding you accountable for every mistake you make. The true tests start now. To my fellow graduates, our lives are now ours. Be proud of be proud of all that you have accomplished and don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. Keep doing what you have been doing to bring yourself to the point you're at now and continue to set goals and reach them. Don't let drug court graduation be your last accomplishment. Push yourself to achieve more. It doesn't matter where you have been or where you are now, but where you're going. I just want to give a big shout out to my probation officer, Ms. Pierre Lewis, for sticking by my side and being firm yet so understanding. If it wasn't for you pushing me as hard as you pushed me, I don't know where I've been in life.
All right. He's going to be that way at home, too.
Okay, next we have Herman Flood.
Go, Herman. Congratulations. Thank you.
My serious guy.
Yeah. I've been on recovery court for a little over 2.5 years. While I've been on recovery court, I've accomplished multiple goals. I got sober, my license back, almost all my debt cleaned up. I finally get to spend time with my kids and family. I'm not homeless anymore. I have a great job with amazing benefits. Recovery court didn't only help me get back on track again, it also helped me believe in myself when I didn't. So I want to say thank you to Recovery Court, my family, friends, for helping me take the broken pieces of myself and helping me put myself back together. I'll forever be grateful.
I just want to say that congratulations to all you guys. And Herman shared something with me that none of his family members were here today. So I just want to give him an extra round of applause because we are here for him. So Herman, I am here for you, okay?
What do they say? We are family. Yes, we are. Thank you, Officer Pierre Lewis. The next person we have is Officer Rosario. And we have Emilio Altieri.
Good morning. My name is Emilio Altieri. I am on drug court almost 4 years, and it's been rough. And yeah, and you know, like I say, it's been rough because last year I lost 3 members of my family, and thank God and thanks to my PO, Diane Rosario, or also thanks to Arana. They're always telling me things, I know I call you 6 times a day. I'm sorry about that. She asking for everything, and I'm still standing. I've been 3 years and a half, almost 4 years. No drugs, no drinks, and also, I got a nice job, got my license, I got my car, got my own insurance. I don't have to ask anybody else to put insurance on my car. And I got my wife, and, and because of her, I finished, strong. I go to church every Sunday. I know it's hard getting up in the morning, but I'm here. And this start and everything, I went to my mom. She passed away in November last year. And this is for you, Mom. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Officer Rouse. And we have Christopher D. Marsico. I hope we finally got your name right, Chris.
There you go. Good job,
I don't want to go too much into my past, but what I do want to say is, somebody had mentioned earlier that drug court was being a setup. I heard the same thing before I came into the program. And you know what? It is a setup. It's set up to help you succeed in life. It's set up to teach you how to be accountable for yourself. It's set up to teach you how to be a decent human in society, how to be a father, how to be a son to your parents, how to be a brother to your sister or a brother to your brother. It teaches you how to be a human being. Okay? That's what it's set up for. So anybody who's new in the program, if you heard that this program is a setup, it is a setup. It's set up for what exactly I just told you. Now there's a reading I want to read a little bit of from Narcotics Anonymous, which, let me tell you, saved my life. It's called We Do Recover. When at the end of the road, we find that we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs, we all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? Either go on as best we can to the bitter end, jails, institutions, or death, or find a new way to live. I was there. Couldn't function as a human being, with or without drugs. I didn't know whether I was coming or going. I didn't know what was up or down. I just wanted the madness to stop. I didn't know how to make it stop. But I'll tell you what, you know how I found a new way to live? Because Officer Rouse, Judge De La Carrera, Ms. Bird, and the entire drug court team showed me a new way to live. Like you had mentioned in what you said, with the contact, the grabbing, and then slowly backing off. Officer Rouse, that's exactly how you handled my case. That's exactly how you dealt with me. You made contact, you latched on, and slowly backed off. And you know what? I owe a lot of my future endeavors and wanting to be a better person and moving forward, I owe a lot of that to you. You inspired me. You inspired me to become a better person than I was yesterday, every day. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Ooh, this thing is real. It transcends 9 to 5, okay? It transcends those caps notes, all that paperwork, all those drug tests. It's so much more than that. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Officer Rouse. One of your participants wasn't able to be here, but I want him to get his accolade, Michael Owens, another graduate. Next, we have Officer Maldonado. Oh, you don't have anybody? Oh, okay. David is not here, but we will honor David Busek, another graduate. He graduated. These names are people who graduated in court. Oh, he moved down south. Great for him. Okay, we have Officer Sanchez, another person who was not able to make it, but we honor them, Alyssa Stella. Officer Arana, we do have this person here. Come on down. We're going to call Angelo Pastori.
Our youngest graduate turned 25 last week.
Good morning, everybody. I want to say it's been rough for me, like I went through a lot. I'm young. I was very hard-headed when I came in at 19 years old. And I took it as a joke, as everybody would, as my age, I didn't know how to handle things. I was a child. Today, I'm standing in front of you as a new person. I owe it to my girlfriend, my family. And I thank you all, to Judge, Miss Bird, Brian. Message for the phase ones and the newcomers, just, you can't take it as a joke, man. This is life. You gotta be serious. I didn't think I would ever be here today, to be honest. But I'm standing in front of you to tell you it does work, But, that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
What do they say? From boys to men. Okay, the next person we have is Yanni Marte Alvarez.
A ver si el juez me puede ayudar.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you need to say it in Spanish, go right ahead.
As people know already, we don't use interpreter services in recovery court. I'm the interpreter.
Quiero darle las gracias a todos.
I want to give thanks to everyone.
Este fue un capítulo en mi vida que me sirvió de mucho,
This is a chapter in my life that served me in many ways.
Me van a esperar ver aquí en New Jersey, no en malas cosas.
You're not going to see me doing bad things anymore in New Jersey.
Porque ya mi sangre vive aquí, que son mis hijos.
My blood is here, my children.
Y voy a estar viniendo aquí siempre.
And I'm going to continue coming here always.
gracias a todos, a los de primer año, esfuércense, que ustedes pueden llegar. Esto es cuestión de llevar las reglas.
Thanks to everyone, and for those of you in your first year here, make an effort. I forgot the last part of what you said. Make an effort. It'll pay off.
Es cuestión de llevar las reglas, sí. Y nada, para adelante. Muchas gracias.
All right. Forward, onward. Okay, felicidades.
Judge, you did good. They may want you in the interpreter department.
When I hit the statutory age of senility in 2 years, maybe I could get a job as an interpreter. Let's work on this.
Okay, next we have Stephen Perry. I'm sorry, Officer Hutchins.
Yay, yay! I was waiting to say that. This is actually my second graduation for drug court. So it shows that if you don't do the right thing, you know how they say, you doing a repeat. You don't do the right things. Thank God I got this second opportunity. This trip, I really don't want to say too much, you know. This program is all about, it shows in the way we live. I think my man said it real good, you know. I look at all the POs, Judge. I love Ms. Bird. Like, they was my hope and inspiration to get through this time. I knew what I had to do already. I also gotta say that I threw away 12 years of sobriety because I didn't do what got me to the beginning, from the beginning, sorry. Meaning that I didn't make meetings. I talked about sponsor and name, but not in action. What I want to say to the newcomers, you're always the most important person here. You know, I just want to show this thing in the way I live. I'm approachable. I'm a Pattersonian now. I want to be like Mr. Johansson. I used to sound like that. But this ain't about sound. This is, again, the way we live. It's in the way we live. I'm nervous, and I'm like the type that I really don't get nervous when I talk, because I could get long-winded. But again, I just want to, in this stage, I just want to be able to show and just do what I need to do to get to the next chapter of my life. And I'm going to come and get one of them pens, because I need a new chapter to write. All right? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hutch is amazing. Like, I met some new friends, and like, Hutch, I ain't gonna never stop bothering you. I'm gonna come and see you always. Now that I get my expungement, I'm hoping I could get me a job now, Ms. Bird. Just to let y'all know real quick too, because I volunteered for a long time for drug court. I was the alumni coordinator for Passaic County Drug Court at that time. So now that it's recovery court, so hopefully I could be the alumni for Passaic County. And Judge, I got a bone to pick with you too. I told you I'll say it. Because Judge never gave me best dress, and I always thought I looked it good. But I found out I need to wear maybe a suit, you know, because I just dress nice, but I don't wear like classic suits. Maybe that's what it was.
Tied for best dress today.
All right. Thank you.
The next person graduating in court, Brian McElfresh, also Officer Hutchins. We have Officer Stoll. Officer Stoll is our newest member of the team, but he came in strong. Oh, newest and oldest. Woo. I don't know if you're older than me and Judge Dela Carrera, you look good. But anyway, we have Nelson Ovales.
First of all, I would like to take my PO and my OPO routes that give me steps to make it here. I made it. I mean, I never started giving up. They never started giving up. They always like, Rouse told me, always, if anything, reached out to me. And every time I needed, I did. I complete my recovery because I stopped. I was like, I want to make the difference. I got my family back, which is the first thing I wanted back. I got 2 other kids right now. I live with my wife. And I don't know. It's feel good to be here. Thanks everyone, bless you. I mean, thanks everyone for being here. And that's it.
Officer Stoll has someone who also graduated in court, Deshaun Harrison, excuse me. Okay, next we have Officer Masonave. And we have Xavier Huertas.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start off by thanking God for this moment. These couple of years hasn't been easy. I'm thankful for everything I learned during these couple of years, though. I'm thankful for, I want to give a shout out to Integrity House, for the beginning of my journey, because that's where I learned a lot about myself and my addiction. I got to meet some great counselors there that gave me the tools to stay clean. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have got this far. They were very important to my recovery. But I also put in the work necessary to apply what I learned to be here. So I also want to thank myself, too. I want to thank Officer Masonavi for always, giving me the option and leaving that door open to call him and, talk to him about anything that was on my mind. He is a great probation officer, so thank you. I want to thank Judge De La Carrera, Ms. Bird, and all the recovery court team. You guys do a great job. Recovery court does work. If you apply yourself and take advantage of the opportunities you're given, you'll get far. So congrats to all the graduates, and thank you.
By the way, from now on, you have to refer to him as Captain Masonabe. We had a softball game. Football.
I know, we don't.
I couldn't even think of that. Old geriatric guy here. We had a softball game against the Union County Recovery Court team, and it was a revenge game. They beat us 5 years ago, the one other game we played, but we smoked them this time. We've got some players here. Captain Masonave led the way. All right.
Okay, next we have Officer Thorpe. And first up is Victor Gary.
Good morning to everybody. I just want to say, when I first started the program, I was like super resistant. I didn't want to cooperate, thought I was too good for this, and I'm like, why am I here? Why did I take the program? But, through a lot of bumps in the road with me and Thorpe, we got through it, and we made the process, and I'm at the end of the road now, so I want to say thank you. Thank you to Judge De La Carrera, thank you, Ms. Thorpe, and the whole staff, and appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot.
Okay, next we have Roger Gilbranson. Oh, gosh, that's funny.
Good morning, everybody. I thank them for putting me over here because you probably wouldn't see me over there. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit funny as much as I can, but it's real serious because today's a serious day. Okay, first thing is first, I'm going to tell a quick story how Recovery Court has helped me to think before I act and to think about the consequences of my actions. I actually graduated in July, and I was told that I was going to be invited to participate in this ceremony. So fast forward, it's November 1st, and I'm driving past probation, which I do every day going to work. So I was in a good mood, so I pulled the truck over, and I decided to write a letter to Mr. Thorpe. So I'm typing on the phone, and it wasn't really nice. I said, the hell with it. I said, even though I didn't give him any dirties, no sanctions, no nothing, I completed this peer recovery class, right, Mr. Johansson? Right? And I promised to get paid, and I never got paid a dime for it, right? From Blessed Ministries. Okay, that I called you and you never returned my call. That's all right. All right? But that's okay.
It's an honest program.
Pretty special. So, so I said, you know what? Forget it. Don't send it. It's no good. Let it go. Have some patience. So, go to work, do my thing. So on November 7th, this young lady calls me. And I was so glad that I didn't hit that send button. Like my wife says, who's sitting over there. Shut your mouth, But remember, so patience does work, and I was taught patience in Recovery Court, even though I'm an old bird. Remember, Recovery Court is like a driver's license. In New Jersey, it's a privilege. So all the people coming on first phase, second phase, third phase, this is a privilege that's given to you. They can easily say, do your 5 years, do your 10 years, do whatever you got to do. And it's easier said than done, but remember, it's a gift. And Judge, I'm not going to tell you my story. You've heard it 100 times. So I'm just going to say that the ceremony is not about my story. It's about what I'm doing so as to not to repeat the vicious cycle of insanity. Recovery Court works, but the effort has to be put forth to succeed and to take advice from people trying to help you. Not all the information you hear will apply, but something they say has to apply. And if it doesn't, you're not trying, or you're not trying to get better. So staying honest to yourself is the cornerstone to your success. Honesty won't let you down. Recovery Court is not easy, but it's achievable. Sometimes it may take a couple of times, but never give up on yourself or the people trying to help you, because they're trying to tell you you're worth it. And someone out there in your life cares, like the two people right there. That's my wife and my son. Who have gone through a lot of unnecessary actions, lies, loss of money and time. And they deserve the certificate and the accolades because they put up with all my bullshit. But I'm getting a completion certificate, but their completion is ongoing. And I appreciate them for that. I want to thank all the people who tried to help me and help me in this journey to stay clean and sober. I want to thank all the probation officers in recovery court and the recovery court team who were always polite to me and always tried to help me succeed. After a while, they used to call me Grandpa. To Mrs. Bird, up until this week, I really thought you were a dry person. And I always wanted to stay away from you. But after you made that phone call and I talked to you a couple times, you know what? I made another mistake in my life. Because I shouldn't have stayed away from you, because you really have a lot to give to people. And thank you. And to Thorpe, who I called twice a week, whether he needed it or not. All he used to always ask me is, don't get arrested again, don't have fights with the cops, and don't give them dirties. And I did that for him, and for me, and for my family. Thank you all for your support and calming influence on me. I want to thank a lady who's not here. Her name is Miss Elko, because without her and the judge going back and forth, I'd still be sitting there. And they both went up and beyond their duties as a judge and as a attorney to help me, and a public defender at that. And Prosecutor Breen is not here. And I know he has a good heart, but he was a tough sell in court. I was so glad when he wasn't there on sentencing day. Last, I'd like to thank Judge Della Carrera, who, you know my wife very well. She's clean 11 years.
Oh, awesome.
I just want to thank you on many levels. For example, when the new prosecutor stated that I had the worst driver's license that he had ever seen and wanted to suspend me for 10 years. And my sick mind said, well, I haven't been driving for a license for fucking 20 years. What does it matter? Right? I was going to get it anyway, or I'd be dead by that time. So you didn't even blink an eye, and you told him to dismiss all the tickets and do not suspend him. Well, it worked, because I got my driver's license back.
Right.
I paid all that. I said I kept my mouth quiet, so I thought you really didn't hear what he had to say. And I was just lucky enough for you to say that. I appreciate that. I also want to thank you for believing in me and acknowledging my little milestones along the way, because acknowledging small things always lead to big things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, because I think it's important to take acknowledgement for all these folks that are back here, because it's not easy to do this. It's not easy for your families to go through this, because they go through it right with you. And if you have a great PO like me, he goes through it with me too. So again, Judge, thank you for being in charge of Recovery Court, and thank you for listening.
Well, I'm glad he let everybody know I'm not dry. Okay, Thorpe's two other people who graduated in court, Mr. Alqui Sadiq and Jeffrey Chestnut. And then we have Officer Rivero. And Officer Rivero, all of your people basically graduated in court. We had Jason Elsner. Congrats to him. Dorothy Zambrano. Officer Rivero, you want to stand up just so your accolades will be, yes. Angel Rivera, you graduated many. And so thank you. We have Officer Wonk, and we're going to call Vinny Tavares.
You know, at the beginning, everything is rough. I went through a lot. I have to dance a lot of people. The church says something that is very important, and I believe that was the key for my recovery. He said about a job that kept me busy the whole 4 years and do the right things. And I just like to thank all these people from drug court team, George de la Carrera, my PO, Wank, the best. Thank you. Thank you all.
And I'm going to ask the technician to cue up Rocky while the judge makes his final comments. To all the graduates, again, congratulations. Family members, thank you from the bottom of our heart, and those in their networks. To all the POs, evaluators, staff, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for all you do, because it's not paper, it's people.
All right. All right, this will be brief. I just want to tell all those who are graduating, who have all the reason in the world to be proud of themselves. I hope that you'll all feel a sense of duty to give back. I know we've been promising a more formal alumni group that's still on the back burner, and we hope to bring it to the front burner soon, but you can get involved with that, but it doesn't have to be through that. Once you've got your 5 years clean, be willing to serve as a sponsor to other people, volunteer in the communities that you're in. There are all kinds of organizations that can use your help. All of you are role models. All of you are walking billboards for this process. And you can inspire others, even in ways that you can't imagine. So I hope that'll happen. And if any of you can play softball, right, Captain Besadavi, you're always welcome to come back for when we have a game. All right, congratulations to all of you.
One more thing, just a reminder to the graduates, the data entry has to go in before you're officially off of probation, but you no longer have to report and do drug testing. And the other thing was, Ms. de Blasio, you have attendance sheets up here for those that are still on, but there are no pens. So just so you, we will, I have a pen right here. So just whatever your instructions are, do you have instructions for those that are still on recovery court? Judge wants to add something.
Just a couple more things before I forget. I want to thank Judge Sanson again. He drove nearly 3 hours to get here today, and he was the first one here. Judge Mohammed, who has a lot of things to do, but sat through the whole program again with his luck. And that's
Everybody have a wonderful day. Be safe. Remember people, places, and things. Those of you that remain on recovery court, please make sure you sign the attendance sheets that are located up here.